Swinging a high drive into center field. It's at the wall. It is gone. Casas does it again. It's gone. It's into the bullpen. This game is tied.
And he swings and rips one to center field. It's high. It's deep. It's back. It's gone. Sale winds. He fires. Swing and a miss. Strike three. It's over. The Red Sox have won the World Championship.
Heyo, welcome back to Play Tessie. It's episode 77. If you're listening on drop day, it is May 30th. Episode 77 is the episode of everyone's favorite random Red Sox player, Pedro Ciriaco. I feel like Pedro Ciriaco is the guy who it's like you name him off and it's like, I know ball. I'm talking about Pedro Ciriaco. I know ball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is the official pod. This is not the official podcast of not the official podcast of this is the official Red Sox podcast of WEEI. Before we get into it, remember, hit that subscribe button whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify.
I don't get it.
Chat, Sammy.
I can't keep a straight face, man.
Keep going, Gordo. You're doing great.
All right. Subscribe, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey app. Rate us 5 stars. Leave a comment, man. Leave a comment. Go to YouTube. On the WEI channel, we are Play Tessie. We have our own playlist there, and you can check out all of our videos up there of all of our episodes. Remember, hit the thumbs up on those videos and comment as well. Socials, at Play Tessie, both Twitter and Instagram. Here with Sammy and Pat, with Joe in the back. God. I don't know. It feels random. I feel like it just comes and goes, whether because the Sox have lost plenty of series, and we've come into podcasts and for whatever reason I'm just really feeling down about the team right now. I don't know. Is it just me?
No, I mean, what's there to feel good about? The pitching,
more than others. It might just be me.
No, I mean they lost 2 out of 3 to a better team. Well, it's kind of, we all expected this. This is par for the course.
I don't know. It's just
I think if you feel down, that would imply that you expected more, which I think is unrealistic. So shame on you.
Yeah, I'm with Sammy on this one.
It's not about expectations. It's just for whatever reason during the game, I literally just kept thinking about oh my God, they won the World Series in 2018. And since that point, 2019 absolutely stunk because we expected them to just do what they did in 18 again, and they were just okay and didn't even make the playoffs. So that was terrible. 2020 was terrible. 2021 feels like a dream in the middle. It's just you kind of take a break from the terribleness. And then 22 was bad. 23 was bad. I mean, we're on the 6th year of this since 2018. And it's I keep having to tell myself that there is tangible, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, whether it be guys currently on the roster, like Duran having the year he's having, Wilyer Abreu having the year he's having, the pitchers having the year that they're having as a whole, or whether you look in the farm system at the guys they have down there. So I do have to keep reminding myself of that, but it is really hard when you watch a game like today, and the second that Gunnar came up with the bases loaded, it's a 1-1 game, and you feel, uh-oh, and then he hits the grand slam, and it's, all right, the game's over because this team doesn't hit. They don't hit. They don't come back from nearly any deficit, certainly not a 5-1 deficit, and they didn't tonight.
Against Corbin Burns in gigantic Baltimore, Camden Yards, which is now the largest left field you've ever seen. Yeah, that sucked. I was really looking forward to the game tonight. Rubber match with the Orioles, chance to take the series, and it felt like it was over very quickly. There was pretty much no shot the Red Sox were coming back from 5-1 deficit under those circumstances. I struggled to focus and watch the game after that, to be completely honest. It was just, I felt like in my head, I'm just all right, I'm ready to record the podcast now. This is over. It's just going to go this way the rest of the night. And that's exactly what happened, unfortunately. Would have loved to eat crow. Alas, I ate my dinner instead.
Yeah, no, it was, you never feel good going into a matchup with Corbin Burns. You get 1 run up and then they come back with 5. They could have gotten 3 and you're already feeling pretty much in the gutter. the 5 spot going down 5-1. Almost like you do not feel great about the rest of the game. And it was early. It was very early when that happened.
The
And
second inning.
it makes the rest of the game just so hard to watch, especially with Corbin Burns on the mound.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they don't hit. There are moral, you can, like in baseball, there's so many guys that touch the game from each team every single game. Like you can look and take a moral victory pretty much any game. Like you can look and say, oh, like Cutter Crawford had a terrible second inning, and then after that through 4 scoreless, like that's great. Willie Abreu continues to show his great defense. He made a great catch. Like the outfield has turned into one of the best defensive outfields in baseball. Like that's great.
Yeah.
You look at some guys,
Positives, man. I mean, like just because they aren't gathering wins doesn't mean there's not positive things to point to for the future. It's just that we're sick of saying that. I feel like we've been saying that for 3 years. Is it true? Yes. Are we sick of it? Yes. It's just how it is, and it's frustrating because if Casas, Story, Yoshida, O'Neill, it's a lot of guys. If they were in the lineup, we'd have more to be frustrated about. But right now, it's like, what do you even do? You just shrug. Whatever. Everyone's out. What do you expect? Corbin Burns in gigantic Baltimore? Why? What do you think? They were going to win that game? You're crazy.
yeah, I mean,
shrugging. After every game, I do that same thing. I just shrug. Whatever.
to your point, I mean, you talk about the guys that aren't in the lineup, and Tyler O'Neill today, as we record this, just hit the injured list, retroactive to I believe the 26th. I don't think they think it's going to be a long stint, but they've said that before, and stuff has turned into a long stint. So I don't think you can ever really trust what they say. I think you just got to wait and see how the knee responds to whatever treatment he gets, and who knows how much that has been the reason for his recent struggles. But yeah, O'Neill will not be in the lineup for the immediate future. Casas is late June at the earliest. Yoshida is starting baseball activities and swinging in a couple of days, they said. So guys will come back, but like even when that happens, like Story's not coming back. I wouldn't expect any of, like, if you're looking at the big 3 prospects, it feels like we get Marcelo Meyer double and homer highlights on the timeline every single day at this point. But if those guys come up, it's not going to be until like the very end. Like if the Red Sox want to put together, if they want to put a competent offense on the field, it's going to require the current team staying so, like, not even just staying in the race, like being in a playoff spot at the deadline and forcing the front office to add to it. And I question how possible that is, especially with the upcoming schedule.
But even if they get to that point, how much do you want to invest in this team? Again, I love what I've seen from the pitching staff so far. Doesn't mean I'm confident it will continue throughout the season. Aside from Tanner Houck, because like, holy shit. Also, the offense is so banged up. They're so far from being a competent offense. Which hitter that's available is going to bridge that gap and make this lineup scary? Without
I haven't even thought about
Yoshida,
it.
like who do you? It just doesn't feel like they're close enough to even think about buying right now. It's so dreary. I'm sorry for being a downer, guys, but
you're telling it right.
It's baseball purgatory. They're not good. They're not bad. But it's just like, this is what you expect. You know, you win 3, you drop 3, you win 2, you drop 2. You're kind of always hovering around that 500. And like Gordo said, it's like for 5 years now, 6, it's always been like, oh, like 2 years from now, 2 years from now, it was like, oh, like now we got Verdugo, he's going to develop, be a star, whatever. Doesn't happen that way. Oh, we're going to spend money this year. It doesn't happen that way. Now you actually do have that light at the end of the tunnel. You have your Roman, your Marcelo, your Teal, Sedon's playing Gold Glove center field. Duran's developed. Rafi's there. Casas is there. Pitching's coming up. Like there is going to be a payoff. But at this point in time, it's just like you shrug your shoulders. And it's just 500 baseball.
And the worst too. I want to like this might sound weird, but like when the Red Sox lose, especially to a divisional opponent, I want to be annoyed by it. I want to be pissed off. I don't give a shit that they lost. I expected them to lose. That's not a fun way to be a fan, in my opinion. So I'm just where do you even go from here? Like I said earlier, everyone's hurt. So what do you even point to?
Sammy, I want to go back to something you said earlier, because you've said that a few times in recent podcasts and radio appearances, is like, how can you justify investing in this team? Like, how can you see this team the way they're playing and say, this is a team I want to invest in? To me, I see how deep their farm system is in players that are going to become Rule 5 eligible. And this isn't me saying that they should make some giant splash, because there's two types of additions. You could trade for a controllable player, whether it be a pitcher or a hitter, that's going to cost you potentially one of your big three, or like if you want to dip into like the Miguel Blaze, Yoel, and Cespedes, like guys like that, you could do that. But there's also guys that, like, there are like reasonable players that belong in big league lineups that are not going to hit in the top 5 of your order. And the truth of the matter is, the Red Sox this year alone, I feel like most years it's like they've got a reasonable depth, or I shouldn't say most years, like the last couple of years, it's like they've had reasonable lineup depth, but just not enough thump in the middle. This year, it's both. This year, they don't have thump in the middle and they don't have depth. And it's in part because they went into the year with a shallow group of bats, but it's also because a lot of the big players there have gotten hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Gordo, when you talk about like the types of players you can get, and you're talking about kind of a mid-tier acquisition, someone who's a good bat, not a game-breaking bat, but one that you can afford that will improve your lineup, is that not Garrett Cooper?
No, it's better than Garrett Cooper. Garrett Cooper has not been good.
No, he's not been good, but I'm saying a guy like him, a guy who's had a solid career, he's been an above-average hitter for a while, not going to blow your doors off, but he's a bat. He's a quality bat. I feel like you're just talking about adding another guy like that, and what does that get you? You missed the playoffs by 6 games instead of 8.
But Garrett Cooper's, like, all respect to Garrett Cooper, like, awesome dude, great guy, like,
he's our best friend.
But Koopaloop is our best friend.
Yeah, he's our best friend now. So,
but like, this is a guy who was DFA'd by the Cubs. He signed a minor league deal and was DFA'd. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, even if it's just like, think about it. Think about the players. What could the Red Sox have gotten last year at the trade deadline for Shane Drohan?
Okay, what if you? Yeah, right. We discussed that guy. I forgot about that guy. My God, Shane Drohan.
He's in Chicago now.
Yeah,
he's with the White Sox, and he's rehabbing. I forget. He might be pitching against the Woo Sox like this week or something.
That's so
like, that's what I'm talking about there, though.
Yeah.
It's like Shane Drohan obviously is not going to get you a good controllable bat, but like, could Shane Drohan last year have gotten you the equivalent of like what Tyler O'Neill is this year? Like a solid bat who's expiring.
I don't think so. I don't think so. That was a guy who was good in, correct me if I'm wrong, he was good in AA and then got rocked in AAA. What's that? You know what? That's going to get you Garrett Cooper. I just don't think
that can get you better than Garrett Cooper.
I think it's a midpoint between the two.
And if you stack him with other guys, like for instance, like Matthew Lugo, who's tearing up AA right now, he's going to need to be added to the 40-man next year, or he absolutely will get taken in the Rule 5 draft. Yeah. Do you believe in that guy to be in your lineup for years to come? Because your infield looks like it's going to be pretty crowded. So when are you going to trade a guy like that? When are you going to trade? There's tons of guys that fit that mold, and you're going to have to either bring them up and find a spot for them, or you're going to have to trade them. There's only 2 options.
And then
wouldn't you rather trade him for another minor league piece with more control? What's the point of getting a major league piece if it's just going to expire and this team has no hope to go anywhere into the playoffs? What's the point of that? That just seems like it's appeasing impatient fans.
You could do either, but I really do think that, like, and it's not like this team is 6-7 games out of a playoff spot right now. Like, we've seen teams in worse positions than the Red Sox make runs. I'm not saying that this team is worth making a legitimate investment in. And I would be okay if they did what you're saying, Sammy, and traded those guys who are approaching Rule 5 eligibility for guys in the lower minors to keep the pipeline going. They should, in my opinion, do a little bit of both because they have so many of them. Like, if they want to sign any free agents this offseason, there's going to be like 8 to 10 guys who you risk losing in the Rule 5 draft. Trade 1 or 2 of them for a piece to help you now, and trade a few of them for teenagers, stuff to help you down the road. Like you can't just sit on your hands and do nothing, because then you lose 5-6 guys in the Rule 5 in the minor league Rule 5 like they did last year.
Yeah, that I agree with. You can't do nothing. You have to you have to be proactive, whether it's reinforcing the major league team or reinforcing your farm. You can't just let assets dissolve. I agree with you there. I just can't. It's so hard for me to see the upside in investing in this team. And where do you invest? Like, what position do you invest in?
That's what I was just going to say is if you invest in a controllable major league piece, we've kind of alluded to it a couple of times already, but next year they're going to have some real log jams.
If that's why I'm okay going for an expiring.
Your middle infield set, what do you do with Von Grissom? If you want to add a third base and put Rafferty DH, what do you do with Masataka Yoshida? If Anthony's up next year, you have Wilyer, Duran, Rafaela, Roman. Like, you really can't add a controllable piece. You got to figure out your log jams first, because you have enough depth once those 2-3 guys are ready and everyone's healthy. So they're in a real pickle. Do you give up maybe someone that is a higher level prospect? And if you do, you have a log jam, you got to figure out what to do even more so. Or do you trade someone that you're not going to protect in the Rule 5 and essentially just give up on it for a lottery ticket teenager or an expiring deal for a team that might not make the playoffs? It's not an easy spot that they're in right now.
It's a good problem to, at least what we're talking about here. I don't want to say the organization is in a good spot in position to potentially miss the playoffs for the third straight year. And obviously it's early and they're still within range, but if the season ended right now, that's the way it would be. But all of the issues that you're stating right there, Pat, are good problems. It's way better to have
I know.
too much than not enough. But at the same time, they are problems that need to come with solutions, and you can't do nothing. You can't sit on all these guys. I don't know. I feel like the deadline is the time to reshuffle things sort of on the back end, clean things up, and the bigger decisions, if you want to talk about Teal versus Wong, which I think could still be multiple years away from being a conversation. If you want to talk about the outfield log jam, the middle infield log jam is the one that could need immediate solution. The outfield log jam, I think you could wait just because Roman is so young. We don't know. We don't know what he's going to be. We still don't even. Obviously, they've extended Sidon, so they've kind of made their bed there. But we still don't know if he can hit big league pitching consistently. There's a lot of unknowns out there. But the middle infield, Casas is locked in, Devers is locked in, Story, whether you like it or not, is locked in, and you kind of have that last spot. And Grissom and Meyer are locked in. And as you said, Pat, you're going to have to make a call there. Is Grissom going to get traded? Is he going to become a utility guy? Are they going to figure out a way to get off of Story to fit both of them? There's a lot of different directions you can go there, and it feels like all of that is an off-season thing. That doesn't feel like a trade deadline.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's definitely an off-season. I wonder if I was actually just thinking about this. I wonder if the Red Sox package Yoshida and Connor Wong to a team that is in need of a catcher, because the Red Sox know they have Kyle Teal coming, and they say, okay, we got a good catcher. In exchange, you have to take Yoshida, and then we're rid of Yoshida. Not that Yoshida's a bad player, like we've talked about, just super limited. Would prefer he not, have that contract on the books. But hey, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that in the winter.
Yeah, I mean, there's a when they were talking about, and obviously none of us are in favor of the Red Sox decreasing payroll. I feel like the Yoshida thing is so much more about needing to realign the lineup, because you can run through it right now. Let's talk about when Casas and Yoshida come back, what the lineup's going to look like. You're going to have at least 5, often 6 lefties in the lineup at once, and all of your best players are lefties.
Dude, I don't even know. Oh, I'm going to get shit for this. I don't even know if I'd play Yoshida. What's the point?
Who are you going to DH over him?
If there's a righty on the mound, sure. But if there's a lefty, why would I play? If we agree that Yoshida probably won't be part of the future in a big way, the way things are trending, and he's not a Breslow guy, I could totally see him being offloaded. If we all agree on that, and the same thing with Garrett Cooper, you kind of put them in the same bracket. Why would you play Yoshida over Cooper at DH if you have the option of those two against a lefty? I'm saying.
I see what you're saying. It's tough. I feel like I'm trying to think of the way I would platoon Yoshida, and this is going to sound insane, but it's the truth, is if David Hamilton keeps playing like this. Because
no, that's not insane. That's not insane. That's a left-handed bat, and he's hot right now, and he provides more than Yoshida because he has speed, plays decent defense at second base, and that's all it takes.
Well, here's what I'm thinking though, because if David Hamilton keeps playing well, and I guess this is going to be more so against, I don't know, maybe against right-handed pitching, but like Grissom, you want to get consistent at bats at second. Rafaela has shown, and like we obviously knew this already, but like his center field defense is completely insane. So if you want to get Rafaela reps in center field, then that means Duran is your left fielder, Willier's your right fielder, and O'Neill is your DH. If Yoshida's going to DH, those games are either going to result in an outfielder getting a day off or Rafael at second or Rafael at shortstop. There's no way around it.
Only thing I might disagree with is O'Neill's the DH. I think he'll be gone by the deadline.
Okay, well, yeah.
I don't think he'll be part of the picture when
that's a different.
Sure. Right now, yeah. Right now, I would agree. Injuries aside, he would be the DH. But like O'Neill, not part of the future. Yoshida probably, in my opinion, I know this isn't like set in stone. If I had to guess, I would say Yoshida's not going to be a big part of the future. Yeah. Grissom, Hamilton even might be part of the future. Grissom, I want getting as many at bats as possible. I don't care if he's not producing numbers. He needs to get as many at bats as possible. He's locked down for like 5 years and he's 23 years old. He has to hit. You need that guy to produce. We all agree on that. Everyone you named in the outfield, I want all three of those guys getting more at bats. I could make much better argument for them being part of the future. And then DH, it just comes back to like O'Neill, Cooper, Yoshida. What's the point? Honestly, you're just looking for trade value at that point.
The other thing in terms of Yoshida and like his kind of outlook for the future is, Gordo, you alluded to it. They have no thump in the middle of that lineup. There's only so many spots you can add thump. Only so many guys are not locked in, and only so many guys are interchangeable. That DH spot has to be for someone with thump. Yep. So at the deadline, 100%. If they can offload that contract, you do it. I don't care what you get in return. Even if you eat a portion of it and get rid of Yoshida, you're set up for next year way better. But I agree with you, Sammy.
I'll take it a step further, man. I'll take it a step further. I think, and it's not going to, I don't think that the real thump that they can get for that spot can be a deadline thing. I think it's going to be more so need to be an off-season thing. But I'll take it a step further and say that it needs to be right-handed thump. They're going to have left-handed thump.
What if they got Rooker? They trade, maybe O'Neill's hurt or not performing. Yoshida hurt or not performing. You get Brent Rooker. I think he's got like the 4th best OPS in Major League Baseball, and you'd have him for a few years. You can trade him in the offseason if you want.
I don't hate Rooker. I don't hate that idea. Yeah. I do. How old is he? Do we have his age?
Let me check. He is 29. 29. Yeah, he's gonna turn 30 right when the season ends. Yeah, I mean this would be just a temporary thing. He strikes out a lot, but I mean he fucking mashes. He has a 919. He would be the best hitter on the Red Sox right now. 11 home runs. He would lead them in home runs, have the highest OPS, had the highest OPS plus. If you like WAR, he's got a 1.6 WAR.
Did you guys hear the nugget? I think it was Dave O'Brien said today about the Red Sox striking out.
What was it that they're second behind?
They are second most to the Athletics in all of baseball in strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
tough because I agree. That's
a hard pill to swallow.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is they need to improve that number, but I don't know if the DH acquisition, whenever that comes, is the place to do it because, as we said, that needs to be a power bat. The strikeout numbers need to improve when you get a guy like Casas back in the short term, and who knows, maybe long term when you get a guy like Yoshida back. Not much swing and miss there. I don't know. Maybe we don't know what these prospects are going to be at the major league level. We don't know what their K rate and whiff rate is going to be when they're up here, but it's going to take improvement from guys on the roster as well. Like
it's just there's too many things up in the air for me to even think about adding to this team. Even Brent Rooker, who I just brought up, I wouldn't want to invest in him. He'd be too rich for my life.
Expensive.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a classic buying high. It wouldn't be smart. As good as Brent Rooker is, he would be a good addition, but it wouldn't be intelligent to buy that high on a guy who, doesn't have the greatest track record. Like, I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a 900 OPS player, but this is a conversation for another time. I can't envision investing in this team and feeling like it's a responsible choice.
Well, that's why, like, and to give you credit here, Sammy, the Brent Rooker thing is something you surfaced in the offseason, and I wasn't 100% sold, and he's proven that he is here, like, for real. He is a good player. But that just means that the price is even higher. I feel like if you're going to, quote unquote, invest in this team, it's not going to be in a controllable piece. Like, there's guys that are on subpar teams that are on expiry. Like, I don't know. I really haven't even taken that deep of a dive because it's just so early. But they're to fortify just give yourself any sort of right-handed pop in the lineup, because you were relying on Trevor Story. Like, that went away, and like they didn't have a replacement.
Who's bad though? Which teams are bad? Which teams are so bad that they would sell off everybody? Like
Marlins,
Cardinals, maybe.
Angels,
Marlins.
Marlins, sure, but who the Marlins? Josh Bell.
Avisail Garcia. I'm kidding.
Oh God, what's Josh Bell gonna do? You could go Brandon Drury. Woo.
All right, can I say something? And
you can.
It's not possible. I don't think they would ever do it. But my dream right-handed bat, and this has been for years, is Vlad Jr.
Oh no, that would be fun. Him and Raffy. No shot that happens.
That's Manny and Poppy. That's Manny and Poppy. You can't tell me otherwise.
Whoa.
Dude, Vlad look at Vlad's numbers at Fenway Park and tell me that's not Manny and Poppy.
Okay, but look at Vlad's numbers.
I know.
Period.
I know.
No, he's actually having a decent season. He's hitting the ball hard. He's not on that level. But yeah, man, that would be fun as hell. I mean, you know who else would be fun? Pete Alonso. His personality in Boston, he would be a fan favorite. But neither of these are even remotely realistic. Not even in the realm of realistic. Off season, maybe. If John Henry remembers, if he remembers that he has a baseball team that he owns, which is wishful thinking. Yeah, I don't know, man. But anyway, you guys want to recap really, really quickly recap the series we just had to watch?
I guess so.
All right, so they lost the first game, they won the second game.
Mauled.
Yeah, game 2 they won, and game 3 they lost.
Shout out to just a couple of game 2 shout outs though. Mainly one big shout out to our guy Bernie, because
oh my god.
Comes in 2 on, no out, walks the first guy, and then proceeds to, against a couple of the best hitters in baseball, 1, 2, 3 with 2 Ks. He Ks. Who did he strike out? He struck out Hayes, got Mateo to ground out, struck out Gunnar, then came back out, struck out Adley and Kowser in a 1-2-3 inning. That's crazy.
Just a bunch of white guys. Sorry. I can't get over the Orioles looking like 26 clones of the same person. And then Jorge Mateo.
Vineyard High School baseball team.
Yeah. Who's the other one? Who's the other one that came up for a hot? Heston Kjerstad looks exactly like them too.
Kjerstad, Colby Mayo,
Jackson Holiday too.
Jackson Holiday, Connor Norby. They're all just white guys they look like me. They're just white guys with brown hair. They're just
they look like old you when you had the hair down here.
Yeah, but old me if I were like 6'2" and yoked. Okay, so they don't look like me, basically.
Yeah, if they were 5 inches taller, had a different color hair, and had 20 pounds less muscle, it's just me.
Yeah, we basically just have this like the similar faces, and that's it. But they all look like clones. But agreed, Gordo. On a serious note, Bernardino coming in, getting out, bases loaded, no outs, and then underrated. You hear a lot of guys talk about this. It's a big adrenaline dump when you get out of a jam like that and get back into the dugout and take a seat. He then comes out and pitches more. Like, that's the play Tessie bump there, boys.
You posted his Savant page today, and when I was looking to try to figure out whose page you were talking about there, I looked up a couple others, and it's just like, oh my god, this pitching, like, even when this team is mid out of their mind, some of the pitchers that they have and that they have under control too, just Like Justin, go look at Justin Slayton's Savant page if you want to get a little boost. It looks good. But Bernie's looks really good. They just have a lot of weapons out of this bullpen, and they're going to be here a while. Like this isn't a team. Like that's the beauty of it. Even if they're in contention, you can trade Kenley Jansen and use that money to add stuff elsewhere. You're not even going to really feel the hurt in the pen because you've got guys like Zach Kelly right now is in AAA. Like, come on. Like,
I don't know about that, about not feeling the hurt. I was just going to say, sorry to be a downer, but your really good bullpen is about to get worse because they're trading the closer. I know people get on Kenley, but he's had a decent season. It's not like he's
had a
been
good
bad.
season. He's good.
Yeah. I mean, the blow-ups have been really bad, so the numbers don't look as good as he's actually been. But I mean, you're losing your closer. That's almost guaranteed. Granted, we thought it was guaranteed in the offseason. It didn't happen, so I won't go full guaranteed mode. But like, you're probably losing your closer. They're going to get.
You're getting one.
Say it again.
You're getting one though. Liam Hendriks coming back.
Maybe in August you might be getting one back, and he's ice cold. He hasn't pitched in almost a year. And do you think they're going to use that $16 million from Kenley? I don't. There's been nothing to indicate that they're willing to spend. They said they'd lower payroll.
Talking about this year?
Yeah. You said they would offload Kenley and then they could use his money to add elsewhere.
I think the plan would be if they're out of it, you trade Kenley. And in my perfect world, they would eat the salary to get a better prospect back. But I think we all know that that's not what's going to happen. They'll trade him to someone that will eat the salary. And then if they're in it, they can trade Kenley, dump the salary, and then take other salary back, probably in the form of a bat, maybe a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
And that could be how you improve the team in areas of need without adding payroll that ownership obviously doesn't want to add.
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility. And to be clear, anyone listening, when we talk about removing Kenley's payroll and then using the space, we talk about adding someone with a lesser or equivalent payroll. That's what we mean by that. It's obviously not signing people off the street.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, there's no indicator to me that would make me think that they're going to do that. I think they'll probably offload Kenley, get some prospects, and that'll be it.
Yeah. I mean, the way it looks like it's going, like you got to understand the team has to prove that they're worthy of investment if it's going to be anything but that. That's just the truth of the matter. I don't know what they're going to take back because I feel like when we talked Kenley trade in the offseason, particularly with the Dodgers, there was a lot of these like big league fringe starting. I don't want to say fringe big leaguers. I'm saying like they're big league ready or close to big league ready starting pitchers that they have. And obviously the Red Sox still could use some of that, but you got to remember, like there are some coming and the roster is crunching. And there are going to be guys that next year at this time are, I don't want to say necessarily knocking down the door, but are going to be available to you. Like what is Richard Fitz, who threw 7 perfect innings today before letting up a single in the 8th? What is he going to be at this time next year? What is Luis Perales, who just got promoted to Double-A this past week? What is he going to be at this time next year? Wickleman Gonzalez has not had a very good year to this point, but he's still got a really good arm. And obviously we saw him turn his season around kind of on the snap of his fingers last year. What is he going to be at this point? Zach Penrod just got a promotion. What is he going to be at this time next year? Like there's guys like they require roster spots.
Yeah. That's why I think at some point in the offseason, not at the deadline, but at some point in the offseason, there's going to be some hellacious, crazy trade, and we're going to have to do an emergency podcast. And I thought that was going to happen this offseason, but
it could have.
Looking back, it kind of makes sense. You got new GM, kind of a bridge year. I understand it. You're in the moment. But like you said, Gordo, there's just a big crunch going on. The outfield, too. It's not just the pitchers, the outfield. Yeah. All the lefties you have. So, yeah.
Think about it, dude. They have a crunch of potential depth starting pitchers coming. They have a serious crunch of lefties. They have a crunch of outfielders. They have a crunch of middle infielders. They have, I don't want to say a crunch of catchers, but they're going to have a couple of starter caliber catchers that deserve to start. So I mean, to put a bow on this, because we'll get into the preview of a 4-game series with the Tigers in a sec, but I know Sammy, new GM, I totally get that argument, but that I think is what makes this year all that much more frustrating for so many fans is that at this time last year, they were at basically the same spot with the team, maybe a little bit better at this time last year. And you felt, wow, like if this is the level of play we're seeing now, they're going to spend money in the offseason, and then they're going to have prospects come up, and we are never going to have to see, I don't want to say never, we're not going to have to see mid for another 6-7 years. And yet the very next year, you're still seeing it. So I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to get off your chest before we get into this preview. We can jump right into that if you don't.
No, just one thing I want to mention. Wilyer Abreu continues to make a really good case for Rookie of the Year.
Stud.
Yeah, home run Tuesday when you're listening. Good outfield defense in game 3. Decent speed too. Kind of runs well for a thick boy. Yeah, it's just really nice to see. It's cool also that he kind of, he's past, for the moment, he's past Colton Cowser, who was the talk of the town, and Thick Willie's like, he's a mid-tier prospect, probably not going to compete. Well, Colton Cowser, you are now Wilyer Abreu at home, and Thick Willie marches on in his quest. OPS check is like 860 something at this point.
Is Cowser below 800 yet? Because he's getting there.
I think he's like
close to it.
Give me 30 seconds to check. Sing a song or something.
Even if he's not below 800, the trends is just Wilyer continues, like, it's, you watch him hit and his swing just allows
772.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God, really? He was at 804 when the series started.
Dude, he's been so cold for so long.
Also,
but no, Wilyer's swing, it has so much room for error. You saw it on his home run. Like, that wasn't necessarily his A swing. The pitch wasn't even necessarily what he thought it was going to be. And yet he goes down and gets the ball, golfs it out of Camden Yards.
866 for Thick Willie. By the way,
let's check out these odds. Has he passed him in the odds, or were you just saying he's passed them because like the stats obviously say?
I'm pretty sure he's second in odds. It's like Gill, whatever the hell you pronounce that.
Yeah. Okay, good for them then, because they had Cowser ahead of him for far too long.
Also, I don't understand Orioles fans. And I know they have the issue with the bridge in Baltimore. It makes it a lot of traffic, and the weather wasn't great this series, whatever. But, like, that ballpark is empty. That's one of the best teams in the league. And you've sucked for years if you're the Orioles. You've been terrible for a long time. And now you're loaded. You got a new owner. You got a beautiful ballpark, even though left field is stupid now. Why is nobody there? I was shocked. One of the, I can't recall who it was. Someone who listens to the show posted a picture. They were at the game in Baltimore, and it was what the fuck, Orioles fans? I thought that was like a big sports town, Baltimore. So I don't know. I know they have their reasons. The bridge, traffic's bad now. Weather, but like 6:35 start, which I can't decide if I like it or hate it. But still, it's just weird.
I might fully jump aboard the hate of the early starts. I don't know if you want to join me.
I was furious on Tuesday. I work 9 to 5. I finally finish. I'm like, okay, done with work. Let me get dressed. Let me go on a run. I'm really excited to get outside. I've been inside all day. I want to go run and be in the sun. I go on a run, and then I'm walking back. I'm like, I'm going to go to the store and get a little bit of food leisurely. I'll watch the Red Sox at 7:10, which that's when they start. And then I get home, and it's like the second inning, and I've missed Wilyer's home run and a bunch of shit. It's not a big enough window for the people who work until 5 p.m. 95 minutes to get everything done before you sit down for the night. Not enough.
Right. And then if you are squeezing everything into those 90 whatever minutes, you've now run around doing all that stuff. Now you finally get to sit down and watch the game. And for people who watch the game the way we watch the game, and I get that that's not like a high percentage of the population that like sits down and just straight up locks in for Red Sox games, no matter what time of year it is. But like the game ends, if it's a 6:30 start, it's probably ending around 9:30. So now you're finally like not doing something for the first time all day, and it's almost time to go to bed. So it's nice I feel like it's better to have that extra little bit of time before the game rather than after, because if the game ends at 9:30 versus 10, like it's all the same to me at that point.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like for me, or for people who work until around 5, I think that the extra 35 minutes is more valuable before the game rather than after. And I get the argument would be, 35 minutes of extra sleep. I'm not going to go to bed at 9:30 if the game ends at 9:30. I'm still going to go to bed at like 11-ish. Like I'll be in bed at like 10 because I like to get in bed early. But yeah, I don't know. Nobody wants to hear me complain like an old man though, so I'll zip it.
All right, let's get into this season preview or series preview. We've got the Detroit Tigers coming to Fenway Park for a 4-game set. They just split a doubleheader with the Pirates. They had Monday off. Tuesday, they had a scheduled game that got rained out. Wait, do I have this wrong? Oh, wait, today's Wednesday. I keep thinking today's Thursday. Yeah, they ended up having a doubleheader Wednesday, and then they'll be in Boston Thursday. Doubleheader against the Pirates. They split. They faced Jones and Skeens, so that must have been a fun time. But yeah, they're 27-28 in fourth place. They split a doubleheader. Good news in this series for the Red Sox is that they will be missing Tarek Skubal, which in a 4-game series, just count your lucky stars. But the matchups here, yeah, crazy. But you got Jack Flaherty versus Nick Pivetta in the first game. Flaherty's a 3.84 ERA coming off 6 1/3 innings of 3-run ball with 9 strikeouts against the Blue Jays. He's had a very nice bounce back season. I've always been huge on Jack Flaherty. Good to see him bounce back. I believe he's only on a 1-year deal, so will be hitting the free agent market again. Versus Nick Pivetta, has a 4.2 ERA. He's coming off 3 1/3 of innings of 5-run ball, 3 walks, which is high for him, and 3 strikeouts, which is low for him, coming against the Brewers. Game 2, Kenta Maeda versus Tanner Houck. Kenta Maeda absolutely stinks. 5.8 ERA, coming off 5 scoreless, though, but he only had 1 strikeout against Toronto. The start before that, he got torched for 7 runs across 2 innings against the Guardians. Tanner Houck, ace of the staff, 1.9 ERA, coming off 6 innings, 1-run ball, 7 strikeouts against the Brewers. He's an absolute stud. Pencil him in for 6 or 7 innings of 3 or fewer run ball. Third game, Reese Olson versus Cooper Criswell. Reese Olson, I don't know if you heard of him or not. You guys, I'm sure, have, but like I don't know. I doubt all listeners have heard of this guy, but he's got a 1.92 ERA. He's had a huge breakout season, coming off 6 1/3 innings of 1-run ball and 4 strikeouts against the Blue Jays. Meanwhile, Cooper Criswell coming off his worst start of the season. I believe this was the first start that he pitched in which the Red Sox lost. Or was there maybe the one before that? Second?
I think it's first start they lost, or second start.
No, it was recent because they had a big run, and it was like they never lose when Criswell pitches. I think it was it might be back to back actually, or like
it is
2 out of the last 3. I don't know. Recent.
I think it's back to back. And Pat, you're thinking that because he came out of the bullpen and they lost a game.
Yes.
So it wasn't every game, but he's got a 3.96 ERA. He's coming off 4 innings of 7 runs, 6 earned run ball, 1 walk and 2 strikeouts in that game against Baltimore. That was on Memorial Day. That game was over early. Last game, Casey Mize, former number 1 overall draft pick in the year the Red Sox drafted Tristan Casas against Brian Bayo. Casey Mize has a 4.71 ERA. He's on back-to-back rough ones. He went an inning and 2/3, 6 runs and 2 strikeouts, and then followed that up with 4 1/3 of 3-run ball, no strikeouts. The first game was against the Royals, second game against the Blue Jays. Brian Bayo's going against him. He's got a 4.18 ERA. He's coming off his flu game, which we didn't talk about, but Bayo deserves a ton of credit for gutting out a flu game in the second game of this series. He had a rough first inning, but proceeded to throw 4 scoreless innings after that. Got roughed up a little bit in the 6th, but Bernardino saved him. He ended up with a line of 5 innings, 3 runs, and 7 strikeouts against the Orioles in a game he was almost scratched, feeling under the weather. Hitters in this series, another guy Sox are going to be lucky to miss is Kerry Carpenter, who this year has a quiet 914 OPS. And last year in a series against the Sox, he had a 3-homer series. He had 3 homers in a 2-game span. So good to not see him at Fenway Park at least playing. Matt Vierling having a really good season, hit a home run today off of Jared Jones. He has an 827 OPS on the year. Riley Green is their home run leader with 9. He's had a nice season. And then recently, they've got this guy like Wensiel Perez. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but like everyone's talking about this guy, switch hitter, solid guy, but he's cooled down in the last week or so with a 440 OPS in the last week. Vierling in his last 4 games has 3 home runs, a 1563 OPS across that stretch. Mark Canha, 7 for his last 14 with a 1143 OPS in that stretch. And then in a 12-game stretch, Colt Keith, who the Tigers extended before the season, before he'd even played a game in the bigs, started off super cold, but in his last 12 games has a 992 OPS. So there you have it. Sox, Tigers. Tigers are mid. Sox are mid. It's a mid-off at Fenway Park. And we're going to do series predictions, but I'm going to steal it from you guys because I'm going first.
Oh, but remember, 4-game series.
That's true. You got to get the sequence. But actually, first, standings update. Joe Braverman, get in here.
Hello, gentlemen. Let me give you a little series update here. We actually had a point. We had a point scored in this series. Sammy got on the board for correctly picking loss, win, loss. Pat also predicted 2 out of 3, but not the right sequence. Gordo, you were just way off in 2 out of 3. So Sammy gets a point. He's got 8. Pat behind him with 4. Gordo sitting at the bottom with 2.
God. I'm going to get this series right, though. I'm going first, and this is the most confident I have been in a series prediction to this point. I don't know if I'm going to get the sequence right, but there is no way that this series does not end up in a split. It's a guaranteed split. And for the order, I think they lose the first game against Jack Flaherty, strikeout pitcher against the Red Sox I don't love. They're going to whoop Kenta Maeda's ass. Reese Olson, they'll lose to, and then Casey Mize, they'll beat. So, loss, win, loss, win. Let's kick it to Sammy's. Is it an advantage to go second?
Sammy, I already know what I'm picking.
Go. Let's hear it.
Okay, let me just pick the game that's going to be the loss. Okay, I think the Red Sox. I actually like this series. I know I've been picking negative series outcomes the last 2 times, but I like this one. I think the Red Sox go win, win, loss, win. I think they win 3 out of 4. The matchups totally favor them in this. Detroit's coming off a doubleheader and then traveling. Gross. So, yeah, give me the Red Sox 3 out of 4. Vibe-changing series before something bad inevitably happens right after. 3 out of 4.
Love it. Pat, what do you got?
I'm actually also going 3 out of 4. I'm going win against Maeda, win the next game. I think they win. Honestly, I think they win the first 3.
Ooh,
because my rationale there is, yes, in the third game, they have, correct me if I'm wrong, Casey Mize. So the second game would be what? Houck versus who?
Casey Mize is the 4th game. Second game
Reese
is Houck versus Maeda. Reese Olson's the 3rd.
So Reese Olson's been disgusting this year, but Houck has been equally disgusting, if not more disgusting. So I think they go win, 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 loss. I think they dropped that last game.
All right. Win, 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 loss for Pat. 3 out of 4 for both you guys. I appreciate the optimism. It would be like them to rattle off 3 out of 4 after a podcast in which we were pretty down and negative. So I think this is the most obvious split. 2 mid teams, it's happening. They are splitting. It is happening. There's no way they don't split. Sammy, you're saying something, you're on mute.
The one thing that we've learned this year is that everything that we think is going to happen with this team doesn't happen. And the only thing that does happen as expected is they wind up at 500. So I'm a little torn with your prediction because, yeah, split would keep them at 500, but it's so obvious. So maybe this might be the turning point of the season. Is this random end of May, beginning of June series the turning point? Probably not, but maybe.
It could also, on the other hand, be the series that absolutely kills them. If they get 4 games swept,
I'm just so desperate for something to change.
I know.
It's like the same every week. It's like, all right,
for 3 years too.
Underperform in a series, perform up to expectations in a series. Hey, back at 500. And then the same thing next week in a different order. They perform well, and then they underperform. And it's just like, fuck, can you get on like a 30-game winning streak like a normal team?
I got a little nugget for you guys that you're going to absolutely love.
Ooh.
All right, let's hear it.
So maybe one of the better pitching matchups of the first half of the MLB season will be Reese Olson and Tanner Houck. Both have been lights out, going crazy.
They're not
great
facing
news
off.
is, what do you say?
They're different games. Houck's the second, Olson's the third.
Oh, I have Olson versus Houck on Friday.
I have Olson Saturday.
I see.
Double check it.
I see Houck Friday versus Maeda, and then I see Olson. Yeah, I think it's. I don't know. Keep going with the Nugget though. Let's pretend.
Either way, Houck is pitching on Friday. It looks like. If you want to watch Houck pitch, it's on Apple TV.
Nope. Good luck.
I forgot about that. They said that on the Nesson broadcast or something today, and I was like, oh, wait, is this 2 weeks in a row? It's like Apple TV, they just didn't want to move their equipment from Fenway Park. They just wanted to like save a cost on shipments or whatever. And it's just like, okay, we'll talk about Fenway Park and its history for 2 straight weeks. We'll talk about the monster again. Maybe someone else's popcorn will get hit. We'll talk about that for 7 innings. Speaking of bombs that hit popcorn, Pat, what's it time for?
It is time for Crystal Bomb.
Bomb it.
Bomb it.
Oh, I'm so fired up, baby. Let's go.
My lack of excitement is watching Sammy celebrate his point this week. So
I'm catching up, baby.
All right. Braverman, you want to come on in? Give us a score?
You kind of did the standings for me, but yes, Sammy was the only one that got a point for correctly picking Rob Refsnyder to go yard. Wilyer Abreu also went yard, but none of you chose him. So Gordo still leads with 8 points. Sammy picked up another. He stays in second with 5, followed by Pat with 3.
Did I take Devers? Did I lose? Did I miss a Devers pick?
Yeah.
You did miss a Devers pick.
That hurts.
And I took what? Connor Wong?
Yes. You took Connor Wong and was incorrect. Gordo, you took Devers and you missed.
What's the score right now? Say it again.
Gordo, you're still in the lead. You got 8. And then we got Sammy, who's been in second. He overtook it like 2 weeks ago. He's got 5. And then Pat has 3.
I gotta get, and my pick, I don't think you guys are going to pick.
Oh, but my last point, I was thinking about this. I'm 99.9% sure my last point was Rob Refsnyder in Pittsburgh, his first series back.
Oh, that's the actual turning point of the friggin' season. It's when everyone just broke down and got hurt. Oh, Yoshida and Casas. We lost both of them. Well, Yoshida tried to come back, but what he had, we don't even know what the fuck is. Oh, God. Anyway, who we picking, boys?
Bomb it.
All right, so Gordo went Gordo went first for the series prediction. So Sammy, why don't you go? Gordo, you're going last.
Okay. I waited. I kind of, believe it or not, I actually had a strategy with this. I picked Devers in the Tampa series because he was hot, and also knowing that I could then use him for this 4-game series. So I'm going Devers. I'm going with the safe pick. I'm hot. I want to keep the streak going. Willie, Refsnyder, Devers. I'm going to get 3 in a row. Bang. Or bomb it.
There you go.
Bomb it.
4-game series at home. I can't use Wong, and I don't think I can use Devers. I'll ride the hot hand. I'll go Wilyer. I think I've used Wilyer like 3 times this year. He has not hit one for me yet, but you know what? Fuck it. Bomb it.
You guys are smarter than me. You both took lefties. You took the 2 best home run hitting players on the team right now. Me, I don't care if all the Detroit pitchers that they're facing this weekend are going to be right-handed. I'm taking a right-handed hitter. I'm going to go with Ceddanne Rafaela. He's gonna. I don't know why. Just like a 4-game series. I feel like he's going over the monster at some point. Maybe it's off Kenta. Maybe it's off Casey Mize. I don't know. It's gonna happen. He's gonna hit he maybe even has a 2-homer game. I don't know, but he's gonna get a hold of one. When Ceddanne gets a hold of one, he gets a hold of one. So mark me down. Ceddanne 4-game series, and then next week I'll pick Wilyer.
Yo, Pat. I think old Gordo might be cooked.
Is he losing his magic? Is he losing his touch? Or maybe this is who Who was it? Pat hitting with Ref Snyder that like blew our minds.
Yeah, it was his first series back, and I took Ref Snyder in Pittsburgh.
This is gonna be that.
It was like all righties too. He was like Ref Snyder, first series back off the IL, facing only righties, and we were like, "Okay, Pat, you freaking idiot, no chance."
It was like the second inning. His first,
right away too. Jesus,
mark it down. All right, Sammy, what's it time for, buddy? What do you got?
A lot of losing this week, but not in this segment. It's time for guys being dudes. All right, new team. We got the Tigers. I need a player who played for both the Boston Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers. Gordo, who you got?
So this guy is he might be my second favorite player of all time behind Manny Ramirez. I had a chance to meet him at the winter meetings this past year. But actually, I'd met him before. We're going with Rajai Davis here.
Oh,
Rajai Davis, he only played 17 games for the Red Sox in 2017. He was just a year off from being immortalized as a champion. If he had just figured out a way to stick around one more year, that would have been insane. But he was actually really good for the Tigers. He played was it only 2 seasons there? Oh my God, it felt like he was there for a long time. He was good for them. He had like walk-off moments. He was just like, I don't know. He had the magic touch when he was with the Tigers. But this guy, I believe when he was with the Blue Jays, I was like in middle school at the time. And I went to a Red Sox game and I went down to the visitors dugout and he sees me. I had braces at the time. And he told me, he goes, "Are you a little too old to be wearing braces?"
Oh my God. He fucked you up.
Dude, it was love at first sight from that point on, man.
Yeah. See, he doesn't know that like in Boston, if you meet someone and insult them, that's like saying, "What's up, man? How are you? Nice to meet you." So for you, that was basically what that was.
Yeah, no, I love this is why I use Twitter. I live for getting absolutely shat on. Like it's how I like most people, like they eat and they breathe and they sleep to live. No, I just like I take shit. Like I said that the kick to Peyton Pritchard's face I didn't think was on purpose, and the comments in there have just fueled me for weeks. It's incredible. But yeah, Rajai Davis, love him.
You say you take shit? Anyway. No, yeah, that's actually true though. You like if you have a take and it's an unpopular opinion and people bash you, you're just like, okay,
let's go.
It like bounces right off of you. It's pretty impressive. I try to be like that. Sometimes, I get, but yeah, very admirable.
I laugh at insane people in my mentions. It's great. But yeah. What do you got, Pat?
Let's hear it.
Fister. I hardly know her. Doug Fister, 2017 Red Sox. Doug Fister, 18 games, 15 starts. He went 5-9 with a 4.88. He was at one point, he had a couple decent years in Detroit, but he was like the Chase Anderson. He was your sixth starter. He was your depth guy. He was your spot starter. Had a great little major league career. Was a little less than average for the Red Sox, but he was 18 games, 15 starts. That's a good little time spent with the Red Sox.
It's like a half a season.
Yeah, if not more. Yeah.
His time in Detroit and DC. Oh my God, he was really good.
Yeah, he had really great years.
6'8".
Yeah, he was really tall.
Noodly boy.
2011, he had a 2.83 ERA in a full 31 start season. Then the next year he had a 3.45. Then he had a 3.67. And then in 2014 with the Nationals, he had a 2.41 in 25 starts.
Wow. Damn. Yeah, he was a legitimately really good pitcher. Yeah. Like funny name aside. Man, I went to his Red Sox or his Fenway debut, and I was sitting in the bleachers, which is where like the degenerates are. Oh my God. Tough name to have pitching on the mound at Fenway Park. That's all I gotta say. All right. Speaking of tough names, my guy who is being a dude, trivia question for you guys. This person is also known as blank. John Michael Paveskovich. What is he also known as?
JP. No, I don't know.
Wait.
John Michael Paveskovich?
John Michael Paveskovich.
Is it not? Is it
Johnny
not Johnny
Pesky.
Yes, it's Johnny Pesky.
Am I overthinking this, or is that just Johnny Pesky?
Yeah,
Wait,
that's Johnny
Pesky?
Pesky.
They shortened
believe
his
it or
last
not.
name?
Yeah, I have no idea why, but I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe family immigrated or
Never heard
something.
of that happening. I've
I don't
never
know.
seen that. You see, like my first name is Nat, and it's short for Nathaniel, and you see that all the time. I've never seen a shortened last name.
So I actually was not aware that Johnny Pesky played for the Tigers. Two things. He also, like Ted Williams, had that 3-year mandatory military service, but that was not in his prime. It was like rookie season, out for 3 years, and then he's back in 1946. But yeah, man, he played for the Tigers for 3 seasons, which I, again, was kind of surprised by because, when you're our age group, your age group, you don't think of like Johnny Pesky playing for any other team other than the Red Sox, but he did. And he was not very good offensively, at least on the Tigers. 99 OPS plus, just slightly below average. But with the Red Sox, 110 OPS plus, good defender, hit .313, little slap hitter, was and has Pesky's pole named after him, even though he barely ever hit the ball at or around that pole, but that's okay. And Johnny Pesky, Red Sox and Tigers.
I was going to ask you how you got to that, but I figured it out. You got
what?
Because like you say you didn't know he played for the Tigers, but you definitely watched him play for the Tigers. That's definitely a big part of your childhood, right?
Yeah.
Like how else would he have gotten there, Pat? Seriously.
Yeah, you guys surfed together, right?
Because
Thank you for your service. Happy Memorial Day.
You guys are so
You're
funny.
When you served for your mandatory service, what did you do?
Well, I was terrified.
Yeah.
I just threw me right out there. They're like, go get him. I just ran out there.
You were in combat.
Good head movement, and I made it back. And I played 10 Major League seasons back in the 40s.
I'm not going to rat out a senior citizen for stolen valor. But
okay, fine. I admit it. I didn't serve in the U.S. Army in the 1940s.
Wait, no, seriously. How did you get to Johnny Pesky if you didn't know he played for the Tigers?
Yeah, true.
I was trying to think of someone interesting, and I couldn't think of anyone, so I searched. I was like, who played for Red Sox and Tigers? And Pesky popped up, and I was like, well, that can't be right. Clicked it, went to his page, and I was like, what the hell? He played for the Tigers, and his name is Paveskovich?
Yeah, crazy.
It's a Johnny Pesky day. It's a good Pesky day.
So wait, it's Paveskovich?
It is.
So it's not even shortened. They just like took a chunk of the beginning and a chunk of the middle and added a letter.
Paveskovich. Paveskovich.
Sick.
He was born in Portland, Oregon, and upgraded to Danvers, Massachusetts, where he died.
I sat next to him during Game 7 of the 07 ALCS. Fun fact.
Damn, dude, I've never even been to an ALCS game. And you sat next to Johnny Pesky, and I'm 110 years old. The fuck, dude?
My buddy's dad, their family is just absolutely loaded, and I was supposed to go over to their house to just like watch Game 7, and they ended up getting tickets, and we're like, oh, like we feel bad, like to make Gordo not to make him like now tell me he can't come over. We'll just get him a ticket too, and they were just like sitting in a suite. It's just like sick.
Actually, I have a thing like that. You know Bob LaBelle? He was like Tom Caron before Tom Caron, like early and mid 90s.
I know he's the guy who coined the phrase, why can't we get guys like that?
Yeah. I was in kindergarten class with his daughter, so I got to like sit in his box one time. That was legit. That was sick. But yeah, he's older, okay?
Yeah, it's because you do it.
You know Bob LaBelle? That's like a classic Boston media guy.
It's a broadcasting legend.
Okay, I'm gonna throw both of you. You guys both didn't know who that was.
The name kind of rung a bell a little bit, but it wasn't. Okay, it wasn't anywhere close to the tip of my tongue or anything.
I'm throwing you both under the bus on the internet right now.
All right.
You really want to get into broadcasting.
I hope
Yeah.
people roast you for being old.
Joe, good
hope
job
that's-
knowing who that was and knowing what he coined as well.
Yeah.
Shout out,
yeah, broadcasting, man.
shout out
You're
Tom
going down
Karen.
that path.
Tom Karen's my lifelong. Shout out TC. Shall we get into some?
Before you move on,
Oh, okay, Joe.
I got
got
a GBD that's kind of a personal one that actually might be kind of cool. Do you guys know the name Mark Fidrich?
Yes, the crazy guy who he like talked to the baseball.
Yes.
So this is a
That's the mad
good
Hungarian?
guys being dude. No, Mark the Bird Fit. Google him afterwards. So he was the Rookie of the Year in 1976, and he was the talk of the town when he played for the Tigers. And personally, he grew up in my hometown of Northborough, Massachusetts. Went to the high school I went to, and my very first job was at because after his career, he opened up a diner in his hometown, and he ran it with his wife and his daughter, who now run it. And that was my very first job because our families were very close. I was the busboy at that diner, so I worked with Ann and his widow and his daughter Jessica, who are really good friends with my sister, and it's just a great family connection. It was awful when he passed away in 2009, just a horrible farming incident. But yeah, he was the talk of the town for the Tigers, and then he signed with the Red Sox in 1981. Essentially, they didn't have Tommy John surgery back then. Otherwise, he would have had a long career. But as Sammy said, he was a character. Like, you'll never see a character like that again. He would talk to the ball. Instead of the grounds crew, he would work the mound himself with his own hand. And after innings, he would sprint to the dugout. So, like, before ESPN Monday Night Football was a thing, Monday Night Baseball was a primetime thing. And he took the world by storm. So cool little story there for my guys being dudes.
I
like
love that
one. I like that one.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't think we have any major league players that grew up in Wayland, Massachusetts. I don't know if your guys' hometowns have anybody, but we certainly do not.
I don't think he ever actually played in the majors, but Daniel Evangie, he was a Sox bullpen coach a couple years ago. Scout, yeah, my dad's friend.
Pitching coach. He got all the way up.
Yeah, he was a pitching coach in 18, and then
World
relieved
champ.
of his duties in 19, and then now he's out scouting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I got no professional baseball. The one athlete from my hometown, Dover, is UFC fighter Kenny Florian, which is
Kenny Florian, nice.
Yeah, Dover guy. It's so random, but yeah, UFC, good career. 2 title shots. Never won the title, but 2 shots. Pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Shall we get into some enough said here? Pat, you wanna lead us off?
We shall. I got 2, one of which I game planned with Joe. Joe's gonna pull it up now. So obviously we were busy watching the Red Sox, but today Jorge Lopez of the New York Mets, formerly of the Orioles, got a little caught up in the moment, got a little ticked off, got thrown out of the game and launched his glove into the stands. And then at his locker post game, they asked him what's been going on, and he said, "I'm on the worst fucking team in Major League Baseball." He was DFA'd 5 minutes later.
Wow. It's awesome.
Yeah. Absolute
Brandon's got the
chaos.
video.
Wow. Holy crap. That's crazy. He was nasty a few years ago. Wasn't he an all-star?
Yeah, he
Oh
was.
yeah. He was almost reliever of the year.
Wow.
He was. And then the Orioles, okay. Can you either of you guys tell me who the Orioles traded him to the Twins for?
Yes. Fuck. Oh, I actually know this. Who the Orioles traded him to the Twins for? Can you give me a position?
Another reliever.
Was it wasn't Yennier Cano, was it?
It was. Yeah.
Damn it. I
They
knew
cashed-
it was someone who mattered, like an important name. Damn it.
Yeah.
They cashed
job.
Lopez.
So yeah,
Perfect time for Cano. Crazy.
former almost reliever of the year, threw his glove into the stands, called his team shit, and then here we go. Eddie Martino from, I think he's SNY. The Mets will DFA Jorge Lopez. This is Yeah, SNY. Cool. This is 10 minutes after that little flare up in calling the teams the worst team in baseball. For those not following blow by blow, the team considered Lopez's glove toss into the stands and post-game comments unacceptable. As a result of that, he is gone. So, yeah, he laid into the Mets, threw his glove in the stands, and now he's a free agent. So
Wild.
So then my second one, do you guys remember David Fletcher?
Oh yeah,
I
this
saw
story's
this.
nuts. Yeah,
Okay, did you guys see this?
I saw his line
So-
today.
Do you know? Okay, I'll just say it. So David Fletcher, career like utility guy, kind of fizzled out. He's in the minors.
Got an extension though, didn't he? Didn't the Angels pay him?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
He got paid.
And so he's in AAA, I think.
Yes.
He's trying to make it as a knuckleball pitcher. Today, he threw 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. And you got to be like, oh, God, that's really good. That's a great feel-good story. I mean, this guy's working his way back, Rick Ankiel fashion. Only thing is, he is coincidingly being investigated for betting on baseball.
Isn't it by,
I
like,
forgot
the
about
FBI
that.
too?
So,
Isn't it like the FBI too?
yeah,
like
no, it's a
big
full-blown
thing?
investigation. So, yeah. So I'll be curious what to see comes first for old David Fletcher, the MLB or prison.
I forgot to save the tweet because I wanted to mention this. I'm glad you brought it up, Pat. But it was the vast majority of his pitches were below 67 miles an hour. Which,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, when Tim Wakefield pitched, it was about like 69, 70. Like
It was low
maybe
70s, yeah.
Yeah. Like that's
Dickey was
a
the same.
slow. And then R.A. Dickey was, his knuckleball didn't knuckle as much, but it was 20 miles an hour faster. So
Yeah.
it was more effective, just as or more effective. So, bizarre scenario. One of the weirdest stories you'll ever hear.
Yep.
Oh, that's a quality. Enough said.
Sammy, you want the second? Or do you want
yeah.
to close?
Yeah, no, I'll go second. So, Gordo and I, in case you missed it, we were at Fenway Park last Saturday talking to the Red Sox, and we were asking some players, reporters, media people who they think would win in a fight between a silverback gorilla and a grizzly bear. And we got some good content. Check that out on our Instagram channels at Play Tessie when you have a moment. But my mom saw it, and she sent me an entire book of like animal fight matchups.
Oh yeah.
And it has like
What?
it has like stats for each animal. Like how I was trying to give Garrett Cooper stats on that was Cooper Criswell. I was trying to give Cooper Criswell stats on both animals, and they were kind of like stats that I found online on the tee on the way to Fenway. Like nothing great. But now I have like a whole book with fun facts and statistics about animals, so we can really scale up this wildlife fighting question sequence that we're doing.
Sammy, what you got to do for the next time, or maybe not the next time because we're literally going tomorrow, but for next week or 2 weeks from now, record it. You're going to record an audio book of yourself reading that book. We're going to leave a flash drive in everyone's locker, and they can listen to it and be prepared.
Yeah, and then I'll just like have the whole list of animals, and I'll like do like random matchups, and they got to pick, and then they got to be like, well, the anaconda has a really tight squeeze, and I believe it got on the hyena. Then the hyena wouldn't be able to escape. The jaw power is insufficient. Therefore, I'll go with the anaconda. Shit like that.
Yes.
Awesome.
I love that.
Thank
Flash
you.
drives. I'll buy the
turn
flash
it into
drive
a
for
new
you.
March Madness. Turn it into a March Madness bracket.
Yeah, we could do a March Madness ultimate jungle rumble.
Rumble in the jungle.
Rumble in the jungle, which was a real fight, by the way.
That one
but
never. Name's never been used before. Just thought of it now.
Yeah, just thought of it. But yeah, ultimate jungle rumble. Thank you, Anne. And I'll study up on this, and so will the Red Sox.
I love it. All right, I'll go third before we wrap this baby up. I love how when you're not at home and you need a doctor for something, or if your pet, you need a vet. So my fiance's family, they have a place in Vermont. They were up in Vermont for the weekend, and they've got a dog, and the dog is like, he's a pretty heavy dog. And they took the dog for a hike, and like later that day, the dog was like in some noticeable pain. So they took him to like this New Hampshire. I said Vermont. I meant New Hampshire if I said Vermont. They took him to a New Hampshire vet clinic. And the vet there was like, wow, yeah, this dog has 2 torn ACLs in the back legs. Like, he's like, yeah, you're not going to need to get him surgery. It's just going to heal. And they called me. I was like, there's no way. And maybe Pat, I don't know if your medical expertise goes into animals, but is it possible to heal 2 torn ACLs without surgery?
No.
No, I mean they'll heal, right? Just not they won't heal correctly. They'll heal, but it'll be like a mess.
But the other thing with dogs is they're pretty. I mean, again, my expertise does not go into dogs. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. All 4 legs equally weight bear. So if were they both back legs?
Yeah, this is the back legs.
Yeah, so maybe he's just gonna have some jacked front legs to take some load off the back. But I mean, that's crazy. I have no idea.
The finish of the story is they took him to the real vet, that like his actual vet at home, and the vet was like, "No, he doesn't have 2 torn ACLs. He's got like a couple of like knee sprains or something. He's gonna be fine. Put him on some painkillers. He's good." But yeah, it's just I always find it like I once got this really big gash of a cut in my leg when I was in St. John in the Caribbean islands, and I had to go to like some clinic out there, and they straight up like stuck a needle in it, numbed it, and like stapled the thing shut with literal staples, which was, I don't know, maybe that's more commonplace than I thought, but it felt sketchy as hell. I don't know, something about going to like doctors or clinics when you're not home always ends up being a little bit weird. It gets weird. But yeah, that's my enough said. Anything else from you guys before we wrap this baby up?
Nah, just Orioles fans, step it up. Show up for your team.
Yeah, appreciate what you have.
Yeah. You don't know what you got.
Banner 18 is on the way.
What is?
Banner 18.
Oh, yeah. How we've not mentioned the fucking Celtics. We got a really good team in Boston during the NBA Finals. They cakewalk to the NBA Finals. They didn't face enough top competition. They are the competition. They beat everyone's ass. It was easy. And now they're going to play who? Probably Dallas, maybe Minnesota. To be totally honest, if it's Minnesota and they come back from 3-0, I am going to be very worried. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Dallas is going to win, and I think the Celtics beat them in like 5 games. Thanks for coming.
I think Dallas is going to be the one that advances. I think it'll be the toughest series they've had. But I'll combat you on if Minnesota comes back and wins this thing in 7, that's a wrap. Celtics got the title because they're going to have to give everything they got to win this series in 7. Remember the Celtics last year? They came back all the way from 3-0, and had they won that game, their entire team was decimated with injuries from that comeback. Like that's what Minnesota, maybe they wouldn't all get hurt, but they all be gassed. I don't know. I like the Celtics chances, but Dallas is good. They had the best defense in the NBA down the stretch, and they've got Luka.
What does that mean? Down the stretch?
Last 15 games of the season, they had the best defense.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that.
They got Luka. But they have Kyrie, so that can't be good.
Luka is chubby and has a weak beard, like me.
You have a better beard than Luka.
No way, dude. Look at this crap. I'm shaving this the second we finish. It's awful.
I think you both have better beards than Luka. Luka has a better beard than me, though.
He's very European. Very, very European. Also, if Kristaps comes back and he's like 80, 85%-ish, I think the Celtics beat the...
That was one thing that I feel like has been extremely not talked about. Everyone's talking about, oh, God, like the Celtics get Kyrie, all this stuff. Kristaps was a disappointment in Dallas.
They hate him.
In Dallas.
Oh, that's true.
Not nearly talked about enough.
Yeah, Tingas Pingas. By the way, okay, Kyrie and Luka would be going from being guarded by Conley and Ant Edwards. Like Ant Edwards is like a decent defender, but Conley's like 37 years old. To Drew Holiday and Derek White.
Jaden McDaniels definitely taking Luka. He's filth.
Jaden McDaniels. Yeah, he's pretty nice. Didn't he get an extension in the offseason?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I learned that he's actually a ridiculous defender. It's like, oh shit, okay. Yeah. Fuck, I don't know anything.
That's my favorite Anthony Edwards quote. When they asked about the Suns, he's like, they have Kevin Durant. What do you have? He's like, they got Kevin Durant. We got Jaden McDaniels. The Jay McDaniels shut him down.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, man. I'm actually much more, and I would have said this before the series started. Wolves scare me more than the friggin' Mavs. I would love if it were Celtics Mavs. I think that's a beautiful match. Just purely, all right, take out Luka. You got the two best defensive guards in the NBA, and Kyrie Irving's on the other side. That's great. That's one of their best weapons. You're perfectly equipped to handle that.
Just let it go 6 either way, man. If the series goes, if the T-Wolves can just get one more game, I would feel so good about things. But it's crazy. The next time we record, we still won't have seen or watched game 1 by the next time we record. Like we're still going to be in this weird little purgatory waiting for it to start.
Yeah. Yeah. I love being really cocky about the Celtics because like I'm so down on the Red Sox all the time. So I just go way overboard when it comes to the Celtics.
I'm going to be relentless. If the Celtics win, I'm going to because this is the longest people of at least mine and Pat's age. Sammy, I know you've been around the block, but like Pat and I, like this is our longest drought of our lives without a title. So if the Celtics win, I'm going to be pretty relentless. I'll say that.
Yeah, actually, but believe it or not, same, which is crazy because it's only been 5.5 years.
Yeah.
No, Patriots.
Patriots were early 19.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking Red Sox. I forgot Patriots won their 6th. Oh, so many Super Bowls.
And then almost the Bruins. That would have been so crazy.
Yeah, fuck Binnington. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, let's wrap this baby up and we'll the next podcast will be exclusively Celtics talk. JK, but maybe. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 77 of Play Tessie. Before you get going, before you tune into something else, get on with your day. Remember, hit that subscribe button, whether you're on the Odyssey app, Apple, Spotify, wherever you are. Hit that subscribe button. Remember to rate us 5 stars. How many games do you think the Celtics are going to win the NBA Finals in? Comment that on our shows. That'll make no sense for people who didn't listen, but just do it. Same thing, YouTube. We're on the WEI channel. Hit up that Play Tessie podcast within the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Leave that same comment. Celtics in 4? Celtics in 6? I don't know. Tell us. At the socials, at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. We've got great content coming up on those platforms. So keep your eye out. We keep bringing it out for you. It's good stuff. So make sure you hit that follow button. Get some good clips from the show. Get some good videos with players of the present and future. It's great stuff. But for Sammy, for Pat, for Joe in the back, it's Gordo here for Play Tessie episode number 77 for our 500 Red Sox. They're 500, right?
Yep.
500.
Who knows,
500
really?
Sox. Appreciate y'all too. Say it again, Sammy.
25.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you tuning in. Go Sox. Toodaloo.